All right, summer's over. Weather's getting a little crisp outside. I had a hoodie on it just a little while ago, trying to stretch it out to cutting the heat on as low as I can. But we are back for another NFL season. What is this now? Year 5. We've been with this
Yeah,
fan base on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook since the beginning of the rebuild. Matter of fact, year 1 of the rebuild. So we've covered 5 drafts. We've covered 5 free agency classes. We covered 5 full NFL seasons for this organization, and we are back for year 5 now. I want to jump straight into it, brother. Give people a little bit of opportunity to fall in with us also, but odd
yeah,
summer,
yeah,
odd summer. I want to
yeah.
get into free agency real quick because a lot happened, and this is the season premiere show, so we're gonna go through a lot for y'all because we want to make sure that you guys, when you come here, you're full. You leave full of information. And when you go to your barbershop, so you're chilling in the break room at work about a water cooler, you can discipline some idiot fan that don't know what they're talking about. So let's start with Carlton Davis, man. I think Carlton Davis was a guy I personally wanted back. I
Yep,
felt the ticket that he asked for wasn't too high at all, considering the veteran type of corner he was, his ability to play man press, he can play off press, he can play some zone. But he was a 6'2 competitive long arm corner that had ball skills.
yeah,
And I felt that the money he was asking for wasn't too much. They felt it was. So they went ahead and they let him walk to New England. Now he's over there with Christian Gonzalez. But they replaced him pretty much with DJ Reed. What do you think
yeah.
about the DJ Reed signing? Because I know that was a guy that prior to the organization signing him, you actually brought him up on multiple shows.
hmm Yeah, I mean, CD did his job, man. He battled. He did. You know what I'm saying? It was a guy like you didn't want to see Carlton Davis in the way it ended. It just didn't. It just left a bad taste because you felt like Carlton Davis and the Lions was a perfect fit when it came down to it. You know what I'm saying? Now he did have a rough start at the beginning. I remember his PFF rating wasn't the greatest. I remember the first 2 or 3 games the season. I remember we played the Rams. And he got cooked pretty good against the Rams in that game with Puka and them guys, man. But who can't guard them guys 1-on-1? But um, it was a situation to me where yeah, I wanted him back, but once I felt the writing was on the wall, then I remember we broke down the money and we felt that he was going to get paid. You know, he was going to want his money. You know, some on the open market. You know, what I'm saying maybe a little bit too much for what the Lions were willing to pay for a player his caliber. But um, I like the DJ Reed signing. I think he may be better in coverage to me. He's a little bit he's smaller, if I'm not mistaken, stature wise. So that I don't like the small corner thing. I don't like that. I remember the Lions have always we talked about that like we've never had like a prototype in style corner. It's like we always a step behind in the corner department, but now it seems like we're starting to get guys that fits an NFL uh prototype body wise, you know, stature, you know, long arms, that type of thing. Like Terry Arnold, he kind of fits the bill a little bit. But
Well, that,
yeah,
that was that was Carlton Davis. Remember, like prior to Carlton Davis, who was it? It was Amani Oruwariye. And
yeah,
after
yeah,
Amani had that 6 interception season, we thought, man, this boy is about to be the next Champ
yeah,
Woodson.
yeah, Champ.
And it's funny, man. You can get fooled by corners with them interception seasons too. Look at Trayvon Diggs.
hmm Yeah, yeah, and it's almost like you know, in this league, listen, while you gotta have corners that can be by themselves at from time to time, you know, and you will get beat from time to time, you know, when you guarding the Justin Jefferson, the CD Lamb, Jamar Chase, you know, you gonna get cooked, man. You know, it's only a couple corner guys that you can maybe feel comfortable, like Christian Gonzalez. I know it's a guy we both was high on. Now that Carlton Davis has moved over to New England, that's going to be a formidable cornerback room over there, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as just being able to put him out there Carlton gun battle, man. It was unfortunate. I hated to just see him go out. I think he had a broken jaw or something like that, something crazy, and he couldn't play. It was just like, man, it just didn't end. It just didn't. It just seemed like it was unfinished business with Carlton Davis. You know what I'm saying? From what I understood, he
Yeah.
liked it here. You know what I mean? It wasn't
Yeah.
like he was like, get me the hell out of here or anything like that. I think it was just you can't blame the guy for wanting his money, man. These guys want to get paid. So, New England had a lot. They had a lot. I think they had the most cap space in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And they spent, them boys spent, man, over in New England. So,
Well, he
yeah,
also fits what they want to play,
yeah,
also scheme wise. And I'm with you. It felt like he, let's be honest. I'm not going to say he single handedly won us the Houston game, but he single handedly in the second half of that game brought us back into the game in position to win the game
yeah,
with those two picks that he had.
yeah.
He had a couple forced fumbles, and like he was a
He
people got to
battled.
understand this too. That there's no such thing as the lockdown corner anymore. Nobody's out there on the island playing man press all day long. Guys get beat. And me and you talk about this consistently. Look at these wide receivers that keep coming into the league year after year after year. Look at the few guys that got paid.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that freak at Ohio State. And I mean that with all due respect. But Jeremiah Smith is coming to the NFL too.
Yeah.
So you're going to get beat from time to time. This idea that corners don't give up plays. My thing is this: it's not the catches, it's the yards. You're going to give up catches. Offenses are too good at scheming guys open and attacking zones. And this goes back to the point you just made, which I love. You have to be able to be left on your own from time to time. Because if you just playing zone all the time, these offensive coordinators, they're too good at
Mm-hmm.
finding space.
Yeah.
They will find space. That's what Detroit does. Why do you
Yeah.
think St. Brown gets 10, 11, 12 catches?
Yeah. Yeah.
They
He finds
attack
himself well.
space.
Yeah.
So you have to have corners who can be left alone from time to time. And we haven't had that. And corners who get left alone from time to time, I guarantee you Aaron Glenn liked them.
Yeah.
He
Yeah. That's
got
right.
beat from time to time, but he made up for it. How many games did we watch personally where, damn, Carlton? And then next quarter, yeah, Carlton. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it'll be a punch out for a forced fumble. It'll be a fumble recovery, or it'll be an interception, or it'll be a big time pass breakup. Like corners have to make up for it. You're going to get beat from time to time. But I didn't like to see him go because it goes back to the point you was just making. He fit a profile that we never had. We were
Yeah.
always the team that was behind with the cornerback position. Seattle draft Sean Springs. We draft Bryant Westbrook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Right. Right.
like
We was always behind, dude. Always.
always.
Always. And it seemed like now I think the bigger thing is I DJ Reed's he's a pro. I'm not worried about him. I'm more worried about Terrion, man. TA been my guy, been with him for 2 years. Dude, he's got to pick it up this year. This is the year for me. Because I feel like you said something good in the pregame, in the pre-show. You was like, it's not too much to ask if you're a first round pick, man, to be an impact player. That's just me. These guys have been playing football their whole life, man. You know what I'm saying? And when the guy's got it, he's got it. Now I'm gonna just tell you, I was high on Terrion at Bama, especially hearing Nick Saban say Terrion progressed every year he had Terrion Arnold. He progressed. The couple years he was there, so he worked his way up to get where he was. So hopefully, man, something will click, and this is the year right here where now he can be trusted. You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of people still don't trust him. You know what I mean? It's like, man, get the
Man,
pass interferences. I mean, he did get better as
the lack of ball skills, the
yeah,
lack of
and it's
ball
just like,
production.
man,
Yeah.
it was just like time and time again. It was like, you would expect him to make a play and it's a holding call, it's coming back. You know what I'm saying? A pass interference. I mean, sorry, you giving a, half the distance to the goal. You know what I'm saying? And those plays hurt, man. On a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4.
Our first comment of the season.
Yeah, what's up, Brent?
What up, Brent?
Yeah, yeah. It's man, Brent, this is so important this year, man, that we have The defense got to be locked in. That I always say that because I think during the first part of the season, like you're gonna see sloppy football. I really do. I think because we haven't played. That's the only thing with the preseason that I don't like, man, because it just seems like it takes us a couple weeks to get going offensively. And now it's no margin for
Football
error.
players need repetition,
Yeah,
and you haven't
it's
played a single game since Washington.
yeah. Look at what Cincinnati did the last this year, because last couple years they started off what 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, and ultimately those games costed them to making the playoffs, man. And I feel like this year there's no margin for error for the Lions, man. We know the schedule. I think this team's a playoff team, anyways. I really do. I just think, to me, it's either going to be how we getting in. Is it going to be a wild card? Is it going to be wild card or a division winner? That's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And losing the first 2-3 games of the season could be, the margin between us being a wild card and finish second in division or winning the division. I really don't think it's an end all be all. Remember the last 2 years, I was like, well, we kind of got to get home field advantage to do something. Our crowd is great. It's going to be, it's tough to play here. This year, I don't feel like that. I just feel like you get in, man. You know what I'm saying? You get in and you just play Lions football. Hopefully, we're healthy. That's the main thing. You know what I mean? I just hated to see the way last year ended, man, because we on this show, we don't give excuses or anything like that. We don't say they lost because of injuries. You know what I'm saying? I would never say that, but I felt like it just felt like it was unfinished business to me. That's all. Just the way that game with Washington ended, that was uncharacteristically not how we played at all. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like if I went back and watched that, I'm a weird dude. I
I
went
get it.
back and watched that game again, bro. I couldn't believe it was almost like it was almost like Washington, that it was good coaching actually, but they flipped the switch on us defensively, and it was like pressure was coming from it just seemed like it was 12 guys out there for
I'm gonna
Washington,
say this.
you know.
I'm gonna say this about it. I was surprised, but then I wasn't surprised because I think that we were like really, we were flying above our heads. I think a lot.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that was momentum. Because also remember the amount of games we had straight, where we didn't have to even hop on an airplane. You talking about that stretch of games where we played at the Colts and we had the Bears game, and then we had like what 4 out of 5 games out of
Yeah.
5 weeks at
Yeah,
home,
in the
something like that.
Midwest, yeah,
Yeah, so we was
exhausted.
chilling,
Mhm.
and I think they were riding off momentum too. Like the night that which game was that when they signed Jamal Adams and he was out there running
Yeah.
around for 3 plays and sat down for the rest of the game.
Yeah, what's the
So
guy from the linebacker we had got?
Al Kadeem Muhammad
No, not
made some
him.
plays.
Yeah, he made some plays too. Miles Adams, remember we had him. Well,
Yeah,
Miles Adams was actually still on the roster as well as Kadeem, but I can't think of the one guy we had to play for Tampa for a little
but
while.
it
One,
to me it felt like we knew it was gonna happen. I think you knew it. I knew it.
mm-hmm.
Um, you were an imperial football team, and you would have made it all the way to the Super Bowl and won it with that roster, injury health wise.
Yeah,
But we knew it was gonna happen. I didn't. I would was hoping it wouldn't happen the way it happened. I thought it was gonna happen to Philadelphia or something like that. But it just to me it felt like we just the last few weeks of the season, we was running out of gas. The oil light was on.
yeah,
The hood was smoking,
yeah,
and we just trying to make it to the gas station. We just trying to make it to Bell Tire, and the next thing you know, we caught 4 flats.
yeah,
That's to me what it felt like. That
yeah,
the Commander game felt like we caught 4 flats.
yeah. Just
And
unfinished
then
business,
we and
man.
then it was against a team we never seen before. Like that
Hmm.
offense with that type of quarterback
Yeah,
who gives us problems. Like
yeah,
to me, it was just a combination of everything, and it
yeah,
it happened. And you and I talked about it after the Commanders game. Even if we would have found a way to squeak past Washington, I don't
yeah.
think we were in conditions to handle Philadelphia.
No way, no way. Yeah, we would have beat Philly. You know what I'm saying? Philly was a juggernaut at the time, and that's what you and well, that's what I'm hoping for. Like I'm not gonna say hope because this team is far beyond hope. I mean, you know what I'm saying? We got a good enough team to do what we need to do and get it done. I believe that. It's just it's got to fall our way. We got to be playing good football at the end. As long as we're playing good in December, that I think that's gonna be the key, man. I really do. I think this season is going to be so up and down. I think it's going to be a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, remember, we was living fat off of 15 wins last year, like you said, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be that easy in a regular season this year. You know what I'm saying? It won't be. That's a fact. But I do think, I was just telling a friend of mine yesterday, like a couple days ago. Now, everybody's already counting like Baltimore automatic loss. People are counting Washington this year in Washington automatic loss. And I don't.
I ain't giving people no pass on that because for those people who did that, I guarantee you they were the same people last offseason who was talking extra cocky. Revenge tour. We gonna
Mhm.
kill Dallas and we gonna kill Seattle and we owe y'all and this and that. Well, we owe Baltimore.
Yeah, that's
Stick
right.
your chest out.
That's right. Yeah.
Stick your
And
chest out.
I'm glad we got them boys early in the season. I do. I think that's the game I'm playing. I mean,
That's the
no,
game to catch them.
yeah, yeah. That's the game. There we go. And Monday night, we kind of getting ahead of ourselves. I think the Packers and Bears on the first two games is fantastic by the league, and the way it shook out that way. That Micah Parsons goes to Green Bay. We play. I mean, obviously they didn't know, that the trade was going to go down, but the way it happened, that's going to be must see TV. 425 time slot, Lions Packers. Then you got the Bears. Then you go to Baltimore. I got that game circled on my calendar, man. Just like the first two games for sure. But I just feel like the Lions are past the, we don't expect them to beat a good team. I think that they're way past that. I think we can go into Baltimore and expect it. How come we can't win that game? You know what I'm saying? We're just good at Baltimore. I think Baltimore got arguably they got the best safety in the league with Kyle Hamilton. You know what I'm saying? But our guys is right there. You know what I'm saying? I think Brian Branches and
Low
Kirby,
key,
their combination.
you know how big of a fan I was and still am of Malachi Starks. They may have their version of Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch over there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got to start something serious. So it's good. That's going to be a phenomenal game, I think. I don't know, man. I don't see a 35 to 10 game right now. I don't. You know what I'm
I
saying?
hope.
Not with all our guys. I mean, it just I just don't believe that. I don't believe Baltimore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all tell me, listeners, Walt, correct me if I'm wrong. What's the fascination with Lamar Jackson and Ravens, man? I don't. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson is great. He's like one of the top 7 quarterbacks in the league. I'm not arguing that part. It just seems like they don't get it done in the playoffs, man. And I don't know why they're such like this big Super Bowl threat. I mean, obviously you got to put them there because of the quarterback. I get it. Maybe
I
this
think
year,
it's
like you said, the defense. I'm
yeah.
sorry to cut you off,
No,
but the
you good, you good.
defense is worth talking about. Trust me. I mean, and then you got Mike Green now. That boy's something serious, man. So I do think that it's this year you could probably say Baltimore is like one of those teams that could
I think
actually
the
win the
excuse
Super
is
Bowl.
over for him too.
Yeah, man.
And that's my
That's all I'm
boy.
saying.
And I love him as a player.
Yeah,
Support him fully, through and through. He's worth every penny he gets. But to me, it's similar to what Peyton didn't win a playoff game his first 6 years in the league.
yeah,
Well, Lamar's at least won one, I think. Yeah, he's got two? Was he 2-6? I
yeah,
think in the playoffs. It's what I've noticed with them, and it's similar to what the Colts went through.
yeah,
When you get to the playoffs and teams know what you are, it's kind of easy for a quarterback with the style of Lamar Jackson,
hmm,
as attacking as he is, and I think Dan Campbell, after the Baltimore Raven beatdown we took a couple years ago, said Lamar hammers you. He said the same thing about Josh Allen, like guys who are hammers.
Mhm.
Guys who are just so physically talented
Yeah.
and great at football that there's not a damn thing you can do about them on the field. Especially if they catch you on any given Sunday and you're not used to seeing Lamar Jackson, they're gonna smash you in most cases.
Yeah.
But if you look at what they go through in the playoffs, all of these teams, and that's why he's so damn good, so damn great against the NFC. But when you look at his record against the AFC, is more pedestrian because AFC teams are used to seeing him.
Yeah.
They see him consistently. So by the time the playoffs roll around, man, listen, you ain't got no big wide receivers. None of them block. So come
Mhm.
playoff time, we're gonna put 8 in the box. We're gonna play a lot of cover one against you. We're gonna play a little bit of cover three, and we're gonna press everybody, and we're gonna make you earn every single yard that you get. You notice how stiff Baltimore plays offensively in the playoffs?
Yeah. Well,
Everything looks manufactured.
that's what I mean, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy how they turn into a different team. But that game gonna be huge because that's our cornerback play got to be stellar, especially when we play Baltimore. Because if they can contain, Zay Flowers is fantastic. I love Zay Flowers. Isaiah Likely, I like their team. I really do. Them guys gonna have to be able to cover on the outside because then Lamar Jackson, then Jack Campbell, what's the other kid we just got that I kind of like?
They got old boy Wiggins too.
Yeah, Nate Wiggins. Yup, Nate Wiggins from Clemson, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I I just feel that's going to be a good matchup, man. I think that the two you remember they beat us 35-10 a couple years ago. I just don't think we was equipped. We weren't ready yet to play them
No,
guys.
no,
You know what I'm
no.
saying? I think this year we got the reinforcements because I do think in linebacker department we are quicker, we are smarter, we are sure tacklers now. Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Anzalone. The other kid that I like from Indianapolis, man, he plays with his hair off. Grant Stewart. I like him because he can run from side. He can run. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like guys who can run side to side. He don't have to really be an impact player, but at least be able to hold the water till Michael Rodriguez comes back. But yeah, man, I just think that this season is gonna equip us. Well, mark my words, man. I think that this season is gonna prepare us for the playoffs. Way like you said last year, I didn't really think about that till you just said it about us really not having to travel. I think that what I'm saying, not having to travel during the end of the season last year. Not that you're making excuses, but like you said, it just seemed like we was on cruise control for a long time last year. You know what I'm saying? And then when we kind of needed, it was the injuries too, but when we kind of needed to flip the switch again, we didn't have it. And then Washington had another gear and it was over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So um yeah, this season I think we're gonna be very prepared. I think at the beginning of the season, I think if I had to just do pre prediction on the season, I think we start out the gate slow a little bit, and then I think that we turn it on round November, what I'm saying, and really start to play football, man. You know what I'm saying? Really good football. That's what I'm hoping for. Maybe not. Maybe we start out the gate good. I don't know. But it's gonna be tough to let's just say we go to Green Bay and we lose 35-31. I'm just putting it out there. Let's say we lose that game. I mean, oh my God, people gonna be saying the Lions they don't have it no more. The season's over. The window is closed. Jared Goff. It's just, man, it's gonna be one thing after another if we don't win the first game. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope that Lions fans just realize that it's a long season, man. You know what I'm saying? I have no doubt in my mind it's a playoff team. For me, hearing prognosticators say that they might miss the playoffs, I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that at all. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't even want to say the I word. If you have the I, if you have some injuries to key spots, then of course the season's over. You know what I mean? But we not even gonna put that in the atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Brent, I was just gonna bring that up with Micah Parsons. I mean, first of all, well, let's back up. Let's talk about Micah Parsons a little bit. Now, did you see Micah Parsons getting traded. I never thought he was going to get traded. I just thought that maybe they was going to work the deal out like at midnight before the season start. You know what I mean? Did you see that coming? I didn't see a trade coming at all with him.
Well, I mean, I said a few weeks ago, I felt that, and I take back all the glowing things I said about Jerry Jones and that organization. I just figured that if you look at Dallas history, Jerry has a history, a tendency of dragging his feet on this stuff.
Yeah.
You look at what happened with Dak. You look at what happened with CD a year ago.
Yeah.
It seemed like the offensive lineman, because they've always drafted really well on the offensive line. It
Yeah.
seemed like it didn't, maybe because the offensive line ticket isn't as heavy as it is at the quarterback position, the edge rusher position, wide receivers, corners, and this and that. But it seems like those offensive linemen over the years, the Zach Martins and all those other guys, they got paid. It
Yeah.
seems like it rather quickly. But this whole thing with Micah Parsons was personal. It was. I think Jerry's feelings was hurt. He thought he
Yeah.
had a handshake agreement with a grown man in 2025. Um, he felt insulted because this man brought his agent into a room. And I think that if you're going to conduct business with anybody, you should want to do it in good faith. If you look at what the Baltimore Ravens do, that was their big issue with Lamar Jackson a few years ago. We want you to have an agent. I want you to have an agent so that way when we discuss all of this, because you're a football player, you don't know contracts.
Yeah.
You don't know that stuff. That unless you went to school for it and you know it, but most of these players, they don't know contracts. That's the point of you hiring somebody who does. I want you to have an agent, a capable agent through the NFL,
Yeah.
so that way you can't come back later at me and tell me that I screwed you over on any level. I want you to be very 100% aware of what we're putting in that contract. That's
Yeah.
operating in good faith. There is no, in 2025 with a grown man, expecting him to walk into an office with you with just you and him and his son. And yeah, so we think you're worth but the NFL chart, the value chart says I'm worth this. Yeah, well, Micah, you're an off-ball linebacker. But you line me up at edge 70% of the time.
Yeah.
And people don't get that was part of the issue. Organizations still do that today, where remember what Jimmy Graham went through with the Saints?
Yeah.
They spent what 70% of the plays lining him up at wide receiver, but they wanted to pay him as a tight end, and that was the whole big issue with him.
Yeah.
So when it comes time to pay me, you want to just reduce me down to just an off-ball linebacker that's terrible against the run. Come on. This is a dude who's 26 years old, 4 years in the league, 4 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pros, 52 and a half career sacks, 9 forced fumbles. And when it's time to pay me, you want to reduce me down to just being an undersized speed rusher who's bad against the run?
Yeah.
They it's terrible. It's terrible. I thought that they would eventually get the deal done because they typically do. But I mean, Jerry's luck ran out. This is the one player you kind of jerked everybody else around to the very end. This is the one player that said, "Nah, you're not gonna jerk me around. Get me up out of here." I think it was a good trade for Green Bay also because they're still the youngest team in the league. They were the youngest team in 2025. 2024. They had, I think, 17 expiring contracts last year. At the end of this season, they got 19 contracts coming off the books.
Yeah.
So they will have some money. Now, if you're talking about first round picks, if you're Green Bay and you expect to be a playoff team or a fringe playoff team, even if they're a fringe playoff team, they miss out on the playoffs at what 10-7. They're still not picking to like what 14 or something, 15.
Yeah.
And we expect Green Bay to probably be still a little bit better than that. So, I mean, the pick itself, does that really help Dallas? Especially if Jerry Jones is the one that's making the decisions? So, everything comes down to the quarterback position, Jordan Love. Is he going to be consistent enough? We all know how talented he is. But if he becomes something pretty good, he lives up to what his talent says he can be, yeah, he's going to be hell to deal with. Same thing we say about Caleb. If Caleb ever figures it out, Caleb gonna be hell to deal with.
Yeah, yeah. In a nutshell, and my initial thought on it was, man, I was pissed. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, because I felt like, you know, my emotions got the best of me. What's up, Corey? Um, and I'm like, man, why we couldn't do nothing like that? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I know it's about being smart, and you know, when you're a GM and when you have you know, when you got a track record like Brad Holmes of being a good talent evaluator, you know what I'm saying? And but for him, he's not doing anything like off the map like that. What I can respect about Brad Holmes is what I like about him too as a GM. He's got this thing well figured out, well planned out. You know what I'm saying? He don't get distracted by something else along the way. You know what I'm saying? Us as, you know, just as human beings, you know, we try to stay, at least I use myself, for example. I try to stick to my diet, but yet still I get enticed and I eat something I shouldn't eat. You know what I'm saying? It's like Brad Holmes ain't like that, man. You can't dangle that carrot out in front of him. Like, you supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z for this franchise to get back to a respectable franchise, which we are now. You know what I'm saying? I think they're no longer, the Lions are no longer the doormat teams we were back in the 80s and 90s or whatever. But what I'm saying is he is not doing anything if it doesn't fit the culture of this team, man. And that was
The
these two,
financial
this,
culture.
yeah, financial culture, right? That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
to me, I would have did the Max Crosby thing. You know me, I'm just saying, like, back, I would have did that. So you know I would have did this, you know, this Micah thing. Trey Henry, I would have.
Well,
I not that you don't think Hayden Hutchinson's a fan. Hayden Hutchinson is next in line. He getting ready to get paid. You know what I'm saying? That's not a slight against him at all. It's just I just want to be able to, when we line up against Philly, I want them the boys to be like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lions here, you know, San Fran, all the top teams. You know, the Lions are still a top team,
I'm gonna say
even
this.
with Michael Parsons.
It was very enticing. Very enticing.
Yeah,
I just think that if I get not wanting to tie up that much money in two front seven players,
yeah, I
but
get it.
this is how I look at it. Everybody over the past few days, fans have been ranting and raving about, okay, well, we got to pay Brian, we got to pay Jack, and J-Mo, and this and that. It's gonna shock people when everybody you drafted doesn't resign.
Yeah,
So my thing is this: if you make a move for a guy like Michael Parsons, you're talking about having to sacrifice a player. I don't care about sacrificing a player if I'm getting a 26-year-old all pro. This is what
yeah,
fans not understanding. Jack Campbell may become an all pro. He may never be an all pro. He may never be a perennial pro bowler. He could be a
yeah,
fan favorite here.
yeah,
BB's already made a Pro Bowl and an All Pro, so we know what he's capable of. That doesn't mean he's going to make four more.
yeah,
Uh, Jameson Williams, J-Mo may go out and have 17 touchdowns this season. J-Mo may have 8 or 9 or whatever. Are you going to pay two wide receivers $25+ million? Because think about it, if J-Mo has a monster season, his
yeah,
ticket goes up.
yeah,
So at the end of the day, to me, it would have came down to, out of the four players I just mentioned,
yeah,
if you throw Michael Parsons in right in there too. You're not a Lions fan, you're not a Bills fan, Eagles fan, nobody fan. If
yeah.
I gave you Michael Parsons, Jack Campbell, Brian Branch, Jamison Williams, and Sam Laporta,
Tim Laporta, yeah.
5 players, and I
Mhm.
tell you you can only have 3 of them, which 3 players are you gonna take out of those 5?
Oh boy. Obviously I'm taking Micah. I'm taking Brian Branch, and I'm taking Jameson Williams. I love you,
Okay,
Sam, but I'd see you later. I get another tight end. That's the rationale.
that's
That's how
how
I'm
I
thinking
viewed it.
about it. Yeah,
That's how I viewed it. If I
yeah.
get Micah, I got to sacrifice probably 2 of y'all. But at the
Mhm.
end of the day, I'm still good because I have a 26-year-old All Pro. That was the whole point I was making. Now, I'm gonna get back into free agency because this kind of piggybacks off the point that me and you both were just trying to make, because we've been complaining about the pass rush for 2 years, right? Like opposite of Aiden Hutchinson. We both like Marcus Davenport. We think
Mhm.
when Davenport, when he plays, you and I are
He's
higher on him than some
yeah.
other
Yep.
people in this community, in the content community. But we know what Davenport's job is. I'm 6'6", I'm 270.
Yeah.
I'm a big old school rugged defensive end, 4-3 style type of defensive end that has
Strong too.
3-4, versatility. I play to run well. I'm athletic to get sideline to sideline. I can close everything from 4 technique to the sidelines. I'm good. And I can also power rush and get you some sacks if I'm healthy. But that's another question. If I'm healthy. If you
Yeah.
look at what they did just in free agency, because they did nothing in the draft to really address the pass rush. And I love Tyleek Williams, but
Mhm.
Tyleek Williams is there to make everybody else better.
Yeah.
And I like that. But they did, if you look at them in free agency, man, Tyler Lacey, defensive lineman from Jacksonville.
Yeah, they just got him the unsigned,
Yeah.
right? Was he off waiver wire, right?
Yeah. I mean, they did nothing, honestly.
Tyrus Wheat, I think we got him from Dallas, I think
Yeah,
too.
we just kind of just throwing some stuff at the wall to see if we don't crap out, but we just rolling the dice to see if hopefully we can get some high production out of some cheap labor from some players. And I think that for a
Yeah,
championship level team, you can't operate that way past year 5. Okay, so it got you through your first 5 years.
yeah,
But we talked about the 2025 draft 2 years ago and how we felt that this draft that just passed was going to be huge for them for years 6, 7, and 8. Now, they addressed the offensive line. They addressed the interior of the defensive line. We all know DJ Reader is probably not going to be back next season. But for me, it was never about Max Crosby, Miles
mhm,
Garrett,
yeah,
Trey Hendricks, and Micah Parsons. I just wanted you to get a capable, respectable
yeah. That's all
guy
I'm
opposite
saying.
Aiden Hutchinson that
Right?
poses some threat.
Is that too
Not,
much
not
to
a bunch of
ask?
C minus the D players. Like, that's
Right.
not cool.
That's
That's
right.
not cool. And it gets me upset when people hear what we say and they read what we say and they still say some odd shit that has nothing to do with it. It's not about, oh, well, y'all just want any name that comes out. No, I want a capable NFL player on the opposite end of my defensive
Yeah.
line for my championship caliber team. Don't try to sell me on Al Qadim Muhammad. Don't try to sell me on Josh Pascal against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mhm. That's
Don't
right.
try to sell me on none of these other dudes that you found at the bottom of damn bin and you figured, oh, I can take this home, wash it up real good, iron it. I'll wear
Yeah.
this to work Monday. Like, no, I'm sick of them type of players. We
Right.
deserve better. I'm
Right.
not saying you got to have 2 Aiden Hutchinsons, but
Yeah.
damn, can I get somebody capable? We talked about Khalil Mack.
Mhm,
You wouldn't have given Khalil Mack 17 damn mil for 1 year.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
Khalil's gonna play every game. And
Yeah.
he's
That's
damn
right.
good against the run, and he's gonna rush the passer. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It gets to a point where you have to understand there's levels to winning.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
team understands that. Green Bay understood it.
Yeah, he went out there, made the move. What's up, DC Chris, Brent, Corey, Super Random? I appreciate y'all comments too. And everybody right on here. What they saying, man. I've been reading everything. And yeah, because I got killed for saying that I was upset that they cut Hassanian. But I'm just like, dude, he's the only. I mean, he's the only young pass rusher that we had because, like you said, we don't have anybody. So who are you gonna get excited about? You got to get excited about somebody that's on the roster. So him, at least I was familiar with him more so than some of these other guys that we got that's not even like gonna play, and it's ridiculous, man. So yeah, first off, it's a lot what you said. Like Marcus Davenport, man. I'm just telling you, can he have like an Antonio McDyess coming to just can he give us remember McDyess got let go. Remember they said he had back problems, he was washed up. Can Marcus Davenport give us a McDyess 2 seasons or something, and so we don't have to worry about that spot? Let's just say if he stays healthy, then I think it does look better at the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? When you
Yeah.
have a veteran pass rusher, like that, especially in the playoffs or something like that. Yeah, Marcus Davenport was damn good when he was in there for 2.5 games last year. You know what I'm saying? It was just that pressure, that presence, like you said, the athletic. Josh Pascal too small, man. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. His time he's been here, I've realized that, and I've come off Josh Pascal. He's too small, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. He can't. I don't know if he can be dominant, like overpower, like Marcus Davenport can overpower people. You know what I'm saying? From his arm length
Davenport's a
to,
damn good player, man.
yeah, he
When
just
healthy.
cannot stay healthy. That's his problem. So hopefully, man, hopefully he can play with, a hyperbaric vest on up underneath his jersey, or he could play like with a hyperbaric one of them Thanos arm protectors or something, man. Just like, can he just give us a couple
Some
seasons, man?
some
You know, the,
PEDs or
yeah.
something. So we don't want that. We listen. We don't want to go all the way to the Super Bowl off of PEDs now.
Yeah, ask
We
Lawrence
we
Taylor.
didn't came too far.
Ask Lawrence Taylor what his secret was. Now Lawrence Taylor would be coming high, but yeah, man, I think that when you look at Brad Holmes, we just starting. Brad Holmes' first draft was in 2021. Okay, you
Thank you,
mentioned it.
Corey
I didn't
Patterson.
have Levi Onwuzurike in my list, but you correct me on that. So it was Sewell, Levi, Lee McNeil, Efete Malifonwu, St. Brown, Derek Barnes, Jamar Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? And damn near those guys are still on the roster. Melifonwu's moved on. Jamar Jefferson's not on the team anymore. You know what I'm saying? So that draft panned out. You could say that was a pretty decent draft. You go to 2022, Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, Josh Pascal, Kirby Joseph, James Mitchell. We had high hopes for him. Malcolm Rodriguez, Chase Lucas, James Houston. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going off of just some former,
Not as good, but
not as
we hit
good.
on some players, but not as good overall. Yeah,
23, Jameer Gibbs, Jack Campbell,
hit
Sam Laporta,
hit
Brian Branch.
hit
Hendon Hooker's no longer. Broderick Martin's gone. Both of those guys are
miss
gone. Kobe Sourstall is
miss.
skating on thin ice. And then he's gone. Isn't Sourstall not on the roster now?
Even if
Unless,
he still is
yeah,
miss
yep. And then Antoine Green. I was high on him.
miss.
He's not on the roster. That was 23.
But you got 4 potential Pro Bowlers out of one class.
Yeah, yeah. That was a
So
good
that's
draft class.
yeah,
Yep. Terrion, Ennis
up in the
Rakestraugh's
air.
been a
Miss so far.
non-factor. Gio Mano,
Miss
yep. Sione Vaki's been a miss. He
miss.
hasn't done anything, man. Makai Wingo, Kristen Mahogany. Chris Mahogany going to start for you this year. So
And I
he's
think
six.
Makai's gonna have a spot, but I think you can get away with Makai Wingo. He's undersized too,
Yeah.
but he plays with more power and more aggression than
Jim
Josh Pascal,
Pascal
I think
does.
too.
Yeah,
I
man.
like Makai as maybe my fourth or fifth defensive tackle. I don't want him. He was
Yeah.
good last season, but the
He
problem
was.
was once everybody in front of him, the big bodies, the protection he had in front of him started getting hurt.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn had no choice but to play him inside more. And we talked about him prior to the NFL draft.
Yes.
He wasn't the
Yep.
type of defensive tackle that you wanted to consistently play at 2 tech or even 3 tech for that matter. He had some versatility, but he eventually broke down on the interior of the defensive line. But if you have protection for him,
Yeah.
Tyleek Williams, DJ Reader, and Lee McNeil, Makai can be a
He,
productive
he could
player
be
for us.
effective. Yep. He could be effective. And I think he's on the roster. So they may find a role for him, you know what I'm saying, during the season. But if you tell me I could start the season week 1 in Green Bay with Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader, Tyleek Williams, Aiden Hutchinson. You know what I'm saying? That's not bad. You know what I'm saying? That's not bad to start the season. Then you got Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Anzalone, DJ Reed, uh, Tyrion Arnold, Branch, Kirby Joseph. I mean, dude, that's pretty formidable. Now, I think the problem is the depth behind those guys, man. And that's where the late picks that hasn't worked
And they're
out.
all just guys.
Yeah, and that's the problem. I think we're gonna be in the same boat if we start to get the injury bug again this year. We're gonna be in the same boat we was last year. That's why picking a guy like Gio Mano and not getting uh, the third best linebacker in the draft last year, 2 years ago. It's gonna hurt, man. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, now I know we did sign Zach Cunningham at linebacker. We did sign Grant Stewart, two guys I do
Yep.
like. I do like those veteran presence guys. Spot duty when you need them. That type of thing. And Meek Robertson's another guy that plays the slot. We got Avonte Maddox. He came over from the Eagles. He's another guy that's got some experience. He's going to be in the right spot when he needs to be. That type of thing. So, and then the offense, I think the offensive line, I think, just what Brent said. I'm glad Brent said that. If Mahogany's got to pan out, man, because we need him right now. Walt. We need Christian Mahogany right now more so than ever, man, because Tate Ratledge, we know. I love the pick. I like Tate Ratledge a lot. You know what I'm saying? So he's
I'm
going
kind
to
of
be.
scared about that left tackle position though, because I
Oh, yeah,
think
with
this is
Taylor
the year.
Decker.
I
Yeah,
think this is the year, man, where because he gave up 8 sacks last year, and you in
yeah,
a league where, and it's unfair to offensive tackles, but as an offensive tackle, if you give up 8 sacks to 10 sacks in a 17-game season, you might find your ass unemployed.
yeah,
And you and I have talked about Taylor probably being his last year here.
yeah. He's
Like I
going
don't
on
want to
that
see
too.
him start getting burned bad because now you're talking about, well, and we don't know. They could have been grooming one of these younger guys to play left tackle. Or maybe
Mhm.
they've got a plan in place where after left tackle, because and this is what I actually think they should do. Left tackle is such a massively important position.
Yeah,
If Taylor Decker walked away at the end of the season or they decided to financially cut ties with him, I would just go ahead and move Panay Sewell over to left tackle, honestly, because you know he can do it.
yeah,
And why risk the most important position outside the center on your offensive line on a rookie next year?
yeah. You
Or
do that.
taking one of these guys that's never played left tackle, Ratledge or Miles Frazier or any of these other
Mhm.
guys, and taking that chance at left tackle. It's easier for me to find a supersized right tackle that I can anchor my run game behind and have an all pro already at left tackle. This was just what I was thinking because you and I always go through future thoughts
Yeah,
on what's going to happen the following year or whatever. But
yeah,
I think the offensive line they did what they needed to do. You and I had no idea they was going to go back to back picks though. I
yeah.
mean, not back to back picks, but they went
But
defensive
take two
tackle
linemen.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we also said that it was an important position, and people said, "No, no, no, it ain't." And we also said wide receiver transitioning over that was an important position. No, no, it's not. We got Tim Patrick. Well, they went and drafted a 6'3" guy that can run and jump and catch, which is what
man.
we said they needed.
You called that, man. You called that from
So
the
it's
start, and I think you said you. I think you even said I don't think Tim Patrick gonna be on the roster, dude. I think you said that last year. He's like next year, and I'm like, no, well, you crazy, man. That you crazy. What up, Lamar? Uh, that I'm like, man, no way. I'm like Tim Patrick, like the best guy. You know what I'm saying with experience other than St. Brown that you could depend on. Obviously, Khalif Raymond in that room, but yeah, man, he one guy I'm excited about Tesla because I don't think it was by accident that they wanted to force feed him the ball. I think they knew what they
yeah,
had. They wanted to kind of put it on tape a little bit to start off, and then they kind of wanted to see like can he catch the ball in the corner? Can he? I know, Ralph. That's what I'm saying. They pushed him out, Ralph. I agree with you, man. TP was my guy, man. But they yeah,
man,
they
everybody plotted on that man's downfall. I
they
just knew that his days was numbered.
yeah.
The
But
moment I
Tesla, man,
saw a 6'3" guy that could run and jump and catch, I
yeah,
knew it was over, dog. It was over.
yeah, because who actually, and that's why I love Lewis Riddick, man. Lewis Riddick is fantastic on ESPN. Lewis Riddick brought him up, and I remember before the draft process, he said that as the top guys are going to go, he goes whoever draft Isaac Tesla, and I looked at his name like Tesla. I'm like, who the heck is this guy he talking about? Didn't know. I'm not trying to act like I even knew about him from our because I didn't. I know nothing about him. But Louis Riddick said that guy's a gem. Whoever picks Isaac Tesla, you know what I'm saying, and it wound up being the Lions. But um, yeah, this last draft, I was happy to get Miles Frazier. I thought he was
Yeah,
on both our lists when we did our lineman previews. Miles Frazier, like I say, I think he's starting off on the pup list, I think, to start the season. Obviously, this is a learning experience. Yeah, see, you still got the graphic we did, but yeah, 6'5", 325 pounds. That dude is useful. Trust me. I don't
very.
his athleticism, his power, his mobility, I think is everything that the Lions haven't had. And that I think you can move him over to guard. I like what you said about Sewell. If Sewell eventually plays left tackle, I think you can put Miles Frazier one of the guard spots. Put him at right guard. You know what I'm saying? Next to the next outside right tackle we draft, or you can have him and Tate Ratledge play together eventually. Tate Ratledge is going to eventually be our center, past this season. So I like it, man. I like it. This year, though, coming into this season, this first game against the Packers, obviously we know they got Micah Parsons. So now I just hope it's not a situation. Remember last when we lost to Washington? Well, this is no lie. This is what I seen. I seen uh Ragnow get beat constantly up the middle. I seen Glasgow, Olan, his guy, right to Jared Goff. And I seen Taylor Decker getting beat on a regular, and it didn't look good to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's ironic that we're sitting here talking about offensive linemen when that was the strength of our team the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Now I think we got to shuffle the deck, and it's going to be a learning experience. I like Tate Rat 6'3" is NFL ready, man. You know what I'm saying? I think he's got all the intangible. I've seen it. Obviously, he had a I think the Atlanta game he gave up a sack if I'm not mistaken, or a couple pressures to the quarterback, but it's going to be a learning experience. That's why I think it may be the offense may have a tough time to start the season, and if this is for other teams to try to take advantage of the Lions having their offensive line situation to get better, that might be the first couple games where we could see the Lions lose, because I don't know if those guys are going to be ready yet. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's going to be a unit yet. You want to have your best five guys out there on your offensive line. I don't know if the Lions really know yet. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they know Ratledge is in the fold. That's why I
Yeah.
point to Christian Mahogany. I don't know. He's got to. If Mahogany don't pan out, it's going to be a long season, man. I'm telling you, Goff going to be running for his life, or the running game's not going to be as crisp as it was the last couple of seasons.
Well, I want to transition to the other side of the line of scrimmage. Talk about another rookie.
Oh yeah.
Um, I want to. What's strange about this is that now, of course, you got a Liam McNeil who's out until probably after. Even though they did say he could possibly play earlier, but more than likely at least till Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Um, DJ Reader, he has a history of. Even though he was relatively healthy last year, we leaned on him a lot. That hasn't necessarily been his mo health wise throughout his career so far. He's a guy who there was questions about him potentially being a cap casualty at 14 mil saving. He's going to be on the team. There's a good chance DJ won't play every game. Do you believe they're leaning too much on a rookie defensive tackle this year? Because if you look at it for what it is, man, down the stretch, they struggled against the run against certain teams. Teams that dedicated themselves to the run against us gashes. And if you look at the Commander game, that lack of size on the inside showed up, and it showed up bad. Um, you're not going to stop anybody defensively. I don't care if it's you're going up against a play action heavy team, a power run team, zone team, a team that consistently attacks the perimeter outside, intermediate, whatever it is. You're not going to have any success at all defensively if guards and tackles are routinely at the second level on top of your linebackers. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that's why they went out and got 6'3", 334 pound Toddy Williams, because they need a size on the interior. And we understand that Aleem didn't play down the stretch. Of course, he was hurt since I was it week 7 or week 8. I
Yeah.
think he was out. But they after DJ Reader, there was no size anymore. And that's when teams realized, oh, so y'all soft in the middle now. You ain't shit without your homeboys. And
Yeah.
and they wasn't. But they did the best they could. But this goes back to the point I was making initially. For a championship level team, do you think it's safe that we should be leaning on rookies consistently to be the help that we need? Because like I said earlier in the video, when you're a team that runs your organization, you base everything off of like 85% drafting, 10% free agency, 5% trades, whatever it may be. If you're a draft dominant team, you're going to constantly find yourself, even though you've had success in past drafts, you're going to
Mhm.
consistently find yourself in situations where you're depending on 22-year-olds and 23-year-olds in major league playoff situations. And I think that's kind of where, if you look at the NFC Championship game against San Francisco, it was the experience.
Yeah.
It was 30-year-olds who've been there before against a bunch of 22-year-olds who had never been there before. And you look at what Dan Campbell said after that game, which still sticks with me to this day. We're not guaranteed to make it back here.
Mhm.
So when you get there, you can't choke it away. But typically you don't see young football teams win it in basketball. You can see it happen in basketball, but you don't
Yeah.
really see it happen in football that often. It happens in hockey from time to time. But when you're constantly leaning on youth, you know, young players make mistakes. Tate Radich is going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Miles Frazier is going to make mistakes. Christian Mahogany's been there for about 2 years now, but he's going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Veterans make mistakes. So you look at the defensive line, man. If we can't stop the run,
Mhm.
and we already mentioned how they've got some guys at corner that we consider to be just guys, now you're making life a lot heavier, on those safeties too. So
Yeah.
I think as long as if they're opportunistic defensively as a team, as a defense, they can be between 13 and 16 in the league. But if
Yeah.
they're top 10 in takeaways, sacks, interceptions, forced fumbles, stuff like that, um, red zone percentage, third down percentage, if you're getting off the field, you can give up the yards, but if you're getting off the field in the red zone, it's hard for teams to beat you if they're just constantly getting field goals. Teams need to get touchdowns against Detroit. So if you can constantly hold teams to field goals, you got a chance. But I don't know. I just think that when you're leaning on rookies too much, and we've been spoiled here too the last few years because we've had some damn good rookies and we've had some damn good players in their first couple years. So I think fans here have grown accustomed to having high level rookie play,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
not really the consistency. But I don't know. Like I said, I just think that this is a team who, just looking at free agency, man, it's not about the big name flashy free agents. It's about doing better than D, doing better than C minus, doing
I
better
think
than that.
who I'm sorry, who was the free other than it was Lopez. I didn't have it in
Roy
front of me.
Lopez.
Yeah, Roller Lopez, D Lyman he played for Arizona last year, if I'm not mistaken. Um, like you said, we really didn't do much. I mean, we didn't do much, and I get it when you have a team. And just I think Super Random said we kind of in line with how I think about it. Like we don't have a lot of spots left. We don't have a lot of spots left on this team for like if you can't play, so to speak. You know what I mean? If you can't play, you can't play on our team no more. I mean, I really do think that that's a motto. Even Dan Campbell even said it's getting harder every year to cut certain guys. You know what I'm saying? Because the competition's so fierce out there. You know what I'm saying? So they want to make sure, But I do think, yeah, I agree with that too, Brent. I don't know, man. I'm not either. I'm not either. I think that's an issue where, like, let's just say if you have to go to Kyle Allen, I think the season, like, for a long period of time, the season could be over anyway. You know what I mean? If it gets to that point, I don't want it to be, but
Oh, no, don't
you
get it
know,
twisted. It's
yeah,
over.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. If Goff
Kyle
gets
Allen is a
hurt,
decent
yeah, it's over.
decent
You know what I'm
backup,
saying?
but people forget he was in Carolina. Remember when that last time when Cam got hurt? Not well, his last time in Carolina was his time going back. But
Mhm.
he was the guy who stepped in for Cam and had like a 300-yard game, I think, against Arizona. And then people started talking about he was going to replace Cam. And then the very
Mhm.
next week he was god awful. And then,
Yeah.
but he does have a really good podcast with Jordan Palmer too, Carson
Mhm.
Palmer's brother. But
Yeah.
man, it,
And he can throw. What I did like him, I was able, Tesla and Jackson Meeks was able to make some plays, and even Dominic Lovett. He can throw the ball. I do like that about him. Where when you're a backup quarterback, you gotta have that I don't give a F mentality and throw the rock, man. And I do like that about him. You know what I'm saying? He threw a lot of. They threw. It just seemed like to me maybe it was more John Morton too. Probably not because I think everything's vanilla. I don't think they're really running too many plays in preseason. But what I'm saying is, I think maybe that might be John Morton's philosophy to maybe go down the field more. You know what I'm saying? Because now Jared Goff has kind of showed that he can throw the ball downfield. I mean, remember we was kind of worried about that at least I was last year. And remember, can he get Jameson the ball? He got
I
him the
think he's
ball,
gonna
man.
get. I think he's gonna get Tesla the ball more deep than Jamo. And the reason I think is because Tesla's speed is a lot more gaugeable.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
Jamo has a second gear, which is like 10 to 20 yards, and then it's a very, very fast third gear.
yeah.
Tesla's more of that, like I said, that tall, rangy, fast
Mhm.
guy who I'm fast, but I'm still not too fast for you to gauge me downfield. But
Yeah.
like I've always said with JMO, dude, you got to treat JMO like Randy Moss almost. Just drop back, buy a little time, and throw it as far as you can.
Yeah.
That's all you
Yeah,
got to do.
because
He'll go get it.
he'll run up under it. Yeah, he'll get up
Yeah.
underneath you. You know what I mean? That's phenomenal, man. Just the thought of the offense being, a high level offense. You know what I'm saying? Just, I think the Lions, what's going to be their bread and butter is their high level offense. I think when we able to get a score, we can get it. You know what I mean? Now, how hard to defend that is when other teams trying to stop you from scoring, dude. It's hard. When, especially if we got it rolling, or we could get, our running game could keep us out on the field longer. You know what I'm saying? If we struggling, hand the ball off, that's going to be the key because remember back in the day, the Lions would run the ball on 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6 and get it constantly. You know what I'm saying? I would never see any team would run the ball with so much confidence like the Lions did the last 2 years, But now it's going to be interesting to see with new pieces on the offensive line, are they going to be able to run the ball at will like they were? Because if they are, I think, hey, business as usual. But it's going to be interesting to see if we can't run the ball on teams like we were, effectively. We could probably still run it at spots. I think we're going to be more of a home run hit team where
Hmm.
they might get us, put us in long situations, give it to Gibbs, he take it to the house, that type of thing. Get it to St. Brown and Spade, give it to Jameson, and Tesla. So it might
Yeah.
not be the methodical go down the field, march down the field yard by yard. It might be, keep chipping at it, big play. Keep chipping at it, big play, that type of thing. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can run the ball, though. I'm curious to see if with this new offensive line configuration, are they going to be able to just run the ball? That's my biggest concern. You know.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think with a young interior offensive line like they have, and losing Frank, which hurts because losing Frank when you lost him, he wasn't there long enough. Now we don't know if he's still around the organization, teaching hands on, helping some of these young kids out. But some of the best things you can do with a young interior offensive line, and you got a veteran in Sewell at the right tackle position who's an all pro. You have Taylor Deck, who's a capable vet. He's on the downside, the decline of his career, but you helped him out with a lot of duo, a lot of double teams, a lot of 2-on-1s. Um, and I think this goes kind of transitions to a guy I wanted to talk about in Jahmyr Gibbs. I think now they're in prime position to really utilize him more. Um, I don't want to see Montgomery as much. I was in favor of them drafting a running back this year, but
Yeah.
it's obvious that Jameer Gibbs, the offense to me, should run through him, not JMO, not St. Brown. He's our best offensive player, weapon
Hmm.
wise to me. And I want to see more outside zone. I want to see more counters. I want to see more tosses.
Hmm.
Now, Frazier is hurt right now. He won't be back till later on in the season, but he's another guy that we got in our back pocket moving forward. We got more athletes now. We did the video, the film study on Tate Ratledge against
Yeah.
Alabama. And we showed constant plays of him getting out in space and pulling and getting on tight ends and getting on Vortex and handling them. Damn good player. So how much improvement can Jameer Gibbs do on the 20 touchdown season? I don't know. But it's
Yeah.
scary to think about what he can do when you look at the fact
Yeah.
that the first 4 weeks of the season, 4 or 5 weeks of the season, they underutilized him.
Hmm.
But once
Yeah.
they made him the focal point of the offense, the boy went crazy. Then they got to the game against the Commanders and lost their damn minds. But
Hmm.
yeah, Gibbs is another guy I think they can't lose offensively.
Yeah.
I just think that he's the one guy that, outside of Sewell and some other guys, I think that from a weapon standpoint, they can afford to lose a couple other guys, maybe, but Gibbs, no. Gibbs, no. What up, Fidel Barraza?
Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Fidel?
I do
Um.
shit. We've been going for an hour for these people, but I do want to get them out of here. I know you got some work to do today. I
Yeah.
just want to get to this though.
Yeah.
What do you expect? I don't not necessarily picking games because I think picking
Yeah.
games is impossible on a week to week basis. You have no idea what your team's gonna look like, what the opposing team's gonna look like, what the weather's gonna look like.
Yeah.
None of that. But me myself, even with everything that's happened, I think the Lions ceiling is
Hmm.
probably 12. Their floor is 10. I don't see them losing under 10 games. I do think they're a playoff team though. Now, whether they're a playoff team as the divisional winner or they're a playoff team as a wild card doesn't mean a damn thing to me. Just go out there
Nope.
and win it. I
Just
don't
get
care
in.
about 15-2. That's
Just
not
get
my
in.
claim to fame at all. If you
Nope.
win 10 games and y'all go on a run as a wild card and win it all, I'm fucking happy.
Yeah, just get in. That's all. That's all it takes. You know what I'm saying? Remember, the Houston Rockets won the championship as a 6 seed. You know what I'm saying? You could make Miami Heat made the finals as an 8 seed. I'm just using basketball terms, but you don't have to be the number 1 seed, man. You know what I'm saying? To win the Super Bowl, get to it. Um, my ceiling. I'm glad you said that. 12 wins. That's the ceiling for me. And then the
Yeah.
lower floor, I would say 10-7. You know what I'm saying? I think
Yeah.
that's this division is going to be. Think about it. Last 2 years in our division, what we 11-1. Last two
Hmm.
seasons, you can expect a lot to ask for them to go under. They went undefeated, man, in division. It's in 5-1 the previous season.
Yeah.
So
They had a
I think
magical season.
I think, but a couple of these games where people are saying right now it's an automatic loss, I would just say hold your horses. You know what I'm saying? I would say they'd be more inclined to losing, maybe a game against Green Bay, maybe the first game, losing the game against Minnesota and Chicago, maybe splitting in the division, and then winning a couple of those games where people are already saying they're going to lose, like Baltimore and Washington, Philly. They're going to win one of those. I don't think they're going to go 0-3 against those teams, because if they do, then maybe they're not a playoff. I mean, maybe they're not a Super Bowl contender. You can't lose all three of those games. So they got Kansas City too. So you got
Yeah.
KC, Baltimore, Philly,
Cincinnati.
Washington, Cincinnati. They're not going 0-5 in all those games. They're gonna win three. Okay, let's go 3-2. We good. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you go 0-5 against the elite, then you got no business talking about you're an elite
Well, yeah,
team,
you
in
see
my
how
opinion.
the schedule is stacked. Like this isn't.
Yeah,
You look at the past few years, the first few weeks of the season, they'll throw us a Cardinal game, a Falcon game.
yeah.
Rams ain't nothing, but that's another team. We got the Rams later on in the
Rams
season,
too,
so yeah, it's like you can't this
and
season.
Tampa.
Golf,
Tampa
golf,
pain
yeah,
in the ass.
Tampa too. Golf,
They're pain in the ass.
golf can't afford to go through the motions the first 3 weeks of the season, the first 4 weeks of the season this year. Like we need him to be elite from day one because you mess around, then you talking about Kansas City. You got the Eagles later on, a trip to Philadelphia later on in the season. You
Mhm.
mess around and start 2-5
Yeah,
or 1-4 or something like that, it might be murder's row for you.
yeah,
So yeah, I just think that they're still a really good team.
yeah. Of
But I just
course,
think that asking them to win 15 games again and sweep that division,
that's a lot to ask,
yeah,
man. That's unreasonable, unreasonable, man. Because think about it. Just go off last year real quick before we get out of here. They should have lost on Thanksgiving. That we should Chicago really should have beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. Like I'm just going back to a couple games I remember.
yeah.
We
Caleb
should have lost.
overthrew he overthrew my
Houston.
man by like a yard on that throw. That
Yeah,
last
yeah.
throw was
Yep. Then remember Houston game. Remember the Sunday night we had five
Yep.
off through five picks. We should have lost that game. You know what I'm saying? But so it's obviously we know, you know, uh games can take the season's going to be a roller coaster. I'm just gonna let's just say that right out of the way right now. The season's going to be a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? From the first game of the season till game 17, I think it's going to be people are going to say they're not going to win anything, and then like especially I mean they could lose week one. That what if they start out 0-2? Let's just put that out there. What if they go 0-2? A desperate team has to go to Baltimore and win to damn near save the season. I could see a scenario like that where
If
we're
that's the
0
case, they because Baltimore is what, week 4? So you talking
3.
about like if they 1-2 or if they
Yeah,
like
as Baltimore week. I thought Baltimore was the third game of the season. Let's see. Yeah, they're week 3. Walt. They
week
played
3?
on Monday night, September 22nd.
Okay.
So yeah, that game may have to save the first half of the season, bro. We start on 0-2. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the Browns and the Bengals after that. So yeah, no margin for error. But I like that. I like that they with everybody on us right now. You know what I'm saying? And then I do like Micah Parsons in Green Bay. Everybody, oh man, it's sickening how everybody, not the Cam Newton kind of had Detroit still like being the best team in the division till further notice. But now even Vegas has got I think it's plus 175 Walt to win the division. I think they're ahead of the Lions right now. So yeah, we're gonna do that too this year. We're gonna do our point spreads, we're gonna do our you know, our favorites and stuff like that. So I do think it's gonna be a benefit for the Lions. I don't like when we're not if when we're underdogs, I think we play better. I think the Dan Campbell message works with this team, this group of players, this part of this era Alliance football works if we're the underdog. You know what I'm saying? I really do. I think it might be kind of cheesy to say that, but I think that people not, Detroit versus everybody type mantra that we have here. I think we need that because I think we see what happens when we're, the fat cat, you know what I'm saying, up at the top, and then we get knocked off our perch because we're not hungry, man. You know what I mean? Now I think being overlooked, people not talking about us, saying we're not as good as we were last year. We lost 2 coordinators.
They
Ragnar
they valid
retired.
questions.
Yeah, yeah, of
We do
course.
got
No,
some
and that's
questions.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. But I don't know. It just I can't. I'm glad the season's back. I'm glad to be doing the show with you, man. It's phenomenal. The amount of feedback we've been getting about the show. I see people on the street, man, and then it's amazing how you don't think that people be watching sometime, and then I had a couple people say, "Yeah, I watched the show." You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's cool. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we doing something right. You know what I mean? And we getting it together, man. But it's thanks, Corey. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's gonna be good. Trust me, it ain't gonna be no slappy. I'm gonna tell the truth, man. And anybody not playing well, or if it's a reason, I'm gonna call them out. I'm gonna say it. So I mean, if people get upset about that, then this might not be the
Well,
right show. You know what I'm saying? But
Corey,
um,
we appreciate it, man.
yeah,
I say we appreciate all y'all.
yeah,
Our subscribers are solid though. Like we
yeah. They all know football. They all good.
yeah. And that's the thing when you bring the type of dialogue, the type of content we bring, it brings in certain types of listeners and certain types of subscribers. When you go to the comment section, our guys and gals that be here, they got like tangible things to say. It's not
Yeah.
like, and they bring that because that's what we bring. So if you're bringing slappy damage control 24/7 for the organization, everything is peaches and cream content. Those are the type of mushhead listeners you gonna get.
Mhm.
People who have nothing tangible to say. Now, it's room for mushheads too.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't got to be hardcore football heads the way we are. Everybody don't have to
Yeah. I
look at
mean,
football as deep as we do.
of
But
course. Of
I just
course.
think that as an adult, man who watches football, you shouldn't want someone to tell you the sky is blue when it's green, or it's 90 degrees outside when it's raining. Um, Tell me the real. Don't feed me no BS. That's what it
Yeah.
is, man. And like I said, that's why we do the lives, because we can actually interact with y'all. It's like having a group conversation at the bar with y'all, and we love it. Somebody
Yeah.
chiming in with some news.
Yeah. 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 And I like what I like what Jason said too, just before we get out of here. And you're right. And it's like I think a big part of it too is I like that comment because we do have veteran players on this team. And it's like they have they have built this thing from brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is like a guy like St. Brown is not going to get rattled. You know what I'm saying? In a high pressure situation. You know, Jared Goff's been in the league long enough where, okay, this ain't working. You know, let's go to our bread and bone. We've kind of seen that on that show Quarterback. We kind of seen how it kind of works interactive, and you know, you got to just build that trust. But sometimes the veteran players got to lead the way. And I think that on this team, you know, instead of us having, you know, back in the day, remember we had Dominican Sue, Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Reggie Bush. We got Golden Tate. We got 5 players out of 53-man roster that people actually respect. Well, this team, it just seems like it's 24 guys on this team that, you know what I'm saying, that will command the respect of the team, man, and won't let us get into like being too high and mighty that's the kind of like David Montgomery. He was on the pivot. That was a great interview, him and Gibbs. And, you know, obviously we know a lot of it was for the camera, but Montgomery was saying some good things, you know what I'm saying, about the team, about their makeup, about who they are. And I really do think they want to win. I really do think that they're just not here just blowing smoke up everybody. You know, I really do think that this team feels like they can win. You know what I mean? And it's the coach. I think Dan Campbell, if he can get this coaching staff into guys that other teams want to hire, boy, that shows a lot about Dan Campbell. It really does, man. You know what I'm saying? To have, you know, Dan Campbell don't seem like the I learned a lot about him last year. I ain't gonna lie. I think that Dan Campbell, when he took over real quick, I just thought that Dan Campbell was like another, here we go, another guy like meathead guy, you know, talk a big game. It's not gonna, you know, material. He'll be here 3 years and get fired like the rest of them, that type of thing. But he has shown he's got a football IQ. He really does. You know what I'm saying? From what the players say, but he demands that you do your job. You know what I'm saying? I think the accountability and the demands, he expect these guys to perform, man. And I think that gets overlooked sometimes. I think people laugh at Dan Campbell, but I do think he's part of this thing that's pointing this thing in the right direction. He's the main cog that's pointing it in the right direction, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see.
No doubt, brother. 100% agree. I think we gave people a lot of solid content today. We went through everything: the defensive backs, the linebackers, the defensive tackles, the edge rushers, the coaches, the running
Yeah.
backs, the wide receivers, quarterbacks, the 2024 draft class, the 2023 draft class, the 2025 draft class. And we think we set a nice picture for y'all, man, because this is year 5.
Mhm.
And this is a massive year for this organization. The first 5 years was about rebuilding. Year one was rough, 3-13-1, was it? Yeah, 3-13-1. And then you followed it up with
Yeah.
a 9-8 season where it went down to the wire last
Yeah.
week of the season between y'all and Seattle. Seattle won at LA and then canceled y'all out. But you follow that up with an NFC championship appearance, one of the youngest teams in football. You gonna kind of choked it away in the second
Yeah.
half of that game. Then you follow it up with a 15-2 season, only to catch 4 flat tires in the divisional round against Washington. So I think this team right now, they're at the crossroads. We seen them. We seen y'all 15-2 and lose in the divisional round. We seen y'all win 12 games and then lose the NFC championship. We seen y'all 9-8. We seen y'all 3-13-1.
Mhm.
Only thing now is to see y'all boys get there to the championship game and win it all, because as Lions fans, we've been waiting on that forever. So want to thank everybody for joining us this morning and listening. Hopefully we gain some new subscribers on YouTube, some new followers. Follow both of us on Facebook as well as LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. You on TikTok a little bit more than me, but
Yeah. Instagram. Yeah.
yeah, but make sure y'all show us love, and we will be back all season throughout the weeks to bring you news and our thoughts on everything that's going on. So year 5, we back. Lions Avenue.